How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, December 18th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I am going to do an elite individual profile for Ronald Acun Jr. The elite outfielder slash designated hitter for the Atlanta Braves is turning 25 today, and I am going to lay out what his career has looked like from the first moment he stepped foot on the field for the Atlanta Braves. As of right now, standing at 25 years old, he is a three-time All-Star who was a member of the Atlanta Braves team that won the World Series in 2021. He would be hurt that entire year, but still being a part of the organization and being in the dugout still, I think, deserves being recognized as being a part of the championship team. He is a player that's been named to the All-MLB second team 2 years in a row after being named the NL Rookie of the Year over a player who looks like he can be a future Hall of Famer in Juan Soto. And not to mention that he would go on and lead the NL in stolen bases in his only full season that he would play, a season that he would finish with a 30-30 season, meaning he finished with 30 home runs and with 30 stolen bases. But of course, nonetheless, getting into kind of like his playing style, many people would just describe him as an all-around amazing athlete. He plays great defense. Of course, he can run bases incredibly well, considering he's led the National League in that statistical category. He hits for contact incredibly well. He can get a lot of hits. But of course, I do think that maybe his biggest big-ticket attraction is his power. He can hit the ball incredibly far. He just has an incredible technique with just hitting the ball in a way where just with the trajectory and the angle and how hard he swings it, you're going to hear a loud crack when Ronald Acuna hits it. And the fact that he's such a crazy athlete to keep up with, I do think that he really does put it all together to make himself a very complete baseball player in today's game. So of course, after originally being born in Venezuela, he would find himself signing as an international free agent with the Atlanta Braves in 2014 as a teenager. He would officially get called up after being one of the top prospects in the nation in 2018. As a 20-year-old, or I guess in his age 20 season, he would play 111 games in his rookie season for a Braves team that would find themselves going 90-72. They would win 18 more games than the prior year, and in their 4-year streak of not making the playoffs, as this would be the year where Brian Snitker would win the Manager of the Year, as Ronald Acuna Jr. would win the National League Rookie of the Year. In Ronnie's first season in Atlanta, he would finish with 127 hits in 111 games. That's 16 more hits than games. He had 78 runs in a not even full season. His 26 doubles in that shortened season are also his career high in doubles. His 4 triples are a career high in triples. He would finish with 26 home runs, the second most amount of home runs he would have in a season, alongside 64 RBIs, the second most amount of RBIs he would have in a year. Alongside his 16 stolen bases, he would finish with 12 more strikeouts than games in his rookie year. He would finish with a .293 batting average, so far the highest of his career. His .366 on-base percentage would be pretty high, as well as his .552 slugging. This would be the very first season his slugging percentage is over 500, let alone .550. His .917 OPS would be the first time his OPS was above 900, as his OPS plus of 143 would mean that his OPS would be 43 points better than the average hitter in the National League. Once the season was over, he even got a couple of MVP votes, but after winning the Rookie of the Year, he would go on and hit a grand slam in the Braves' lone playoff win that year, the game that I went to in a series they would lose 3-1 in the NLDS to the Dodgers. That very Dodgers team would go to the 2018 World Series and lose 4-1 to the Boston Red Sox. Ronald Acuna's second season with Atlanta would be his age 21 season in 2019. And so far to this date, it is the only season in which he's played over 120 games. In his age 21 season in 2019, he would play 156 games for an Atlanta Braves team that would go 97-65 and win the NL East for back-to-back years for the first time since 2005. But in that particular season, Acuna would finish with 175 hits in 156 games, while leading the National League in plate appearances as he was a leadoff hitter. He would finish with 19 more hits than games, as his 127 runs would lead the National League. He would finish with 22 doubles, making it 2 straight years of 20 doubles. He had 3 triples. He would hit a career high in home runs and RBIs with 41 home runs and 101 RBIs. His 37 stolen bases would both lead the National League and be a career high for him that he carries to this date. He would finish with 32 more strikeouts than games, however, as he finished with a .280 batting average. He finished with a slugging percentage of .518, making it the second year in a row his slugging percentage was over .500. His OPS of .883 would just be 17 points below the .900 that he was looking for, but it would still be 21 points better than the average hitter in the National League. He would finish with 324 total bases, so far the most of his career, the only time he's topped 300. And once the season would come to a close, in addition to being named an All-Star for the first time in his career, he would be named a Silver Slugger in the outfield position, while finishing top 5 in an MVP race in a season where the National League MVP would go to Cody Bellinger of the LA Dodgers. Once the season would come to an end, the Atlanta Braves would end up losing in the division series to the St. Louis Cardinals. 2019 would see the Washington Nationals win the National League, as they would beat the Astros 4-3 to win the World Series that year. This would lead into Ronald Acuna's 3rd season with the team. His age 22 season would be during the shortened season, as of course they didn't name All-Stars, but ever since he's been an All-Star, he's been named an All-Star every single season that they could name them, as he would play 46 games for an Atlanta Braves team that would go 35-25. They would win their division for the 3rd year in a row in a season where Freddie Freeman won the MVP. Looking at that season, Acuna would finish with 40 hits in 46 games. That's 6 less hits than games. He would have 46 runs in 46 games, however. He would have 11 triples, 14 home runs, and 29 RBIs. Once that season would come to a close, he would be given the Silver Slugger, as he was named to the All-MLB second team for the 2nd year in a row. And of course, the Silver Slugger Award in 2020 is the most recent time that he's been given that award as well. Following the 2020 season, the Braves would end up beating the Reds in the Wild Card Series and the Marlins in the Division Series in an extended playoff bracket to see themselves lose in the National League Championship Series to the Dodgers when they were leading in the series at one point. The Dodgers would go on and beat the Tampa Bay Rays in 6 games in order to clinch their very first World Series of the 21st century. And then this, of course, would lead into Ronald Acuna's 4th season with the Atlanta Braves, the season where they would go on and become World Series champions. In his age 23 season in 2021, he would play 82 games for an Atlanta Braves team that would go 88-73. They would have 9 less wins than the prior season. However, they would win their division for the 4th year in a row. 2021 would see him get taken off of the field in a motorized stretcher, as he would completely tear his right anterior cruciate ligaments, or his right ACL. With this particular injury, Acuna would be ruled out of the playoffs, but just looking at how he would fare in the regular season, he would be named an All-Star for the 2nd time in a 3-year span, as they did not name All-Stars in 2020. In the 82 games he played, he had 84 hits, 2 more hits than games. He had 72 runs. He had 19 doubles alongside a triple. He had 24 home runs alongside 52 RBIs, 17 stolen bases. He had a .283 batting average alongside a .394 OBP and a .596 slugging to record the highest on OPS of his career at .990 in 2021, just ticks higher than his .987 in 2020. And then, of course, following that season in which he was named an All-Star, the Braves would end up beating the Brewers in the Division Series 3-1. The Braves would beat the Dodgers 4-2 in the National League Championship Series, and the Braves would beat the Houston Astros 4-2 in the World Series, as Jorge Soler would be the World Series MVP. This would be the first time that the Atlanta Braves would win a World Series in the 21st century. The last time that they had won it as a team would be in 1995, so of course a lot of history there. And then, of course, the last full season that Acuna would play would be the season after the Braves won the championship. It would be his fifth season in Atlanta. In his age 24 season, this past year in 2022, he would play 119 games for a Braves team that would go 101-61. They would win 13 more games than the prior year to win the NL East for what would be the fifth year in a row, every single year that Ronald Acuna has been there. He would start the season, of course, recovering from his leg injury, of course, working his way to rehabbing back. This past season, he would finish with 124 hits in the 119 games he played. That's 5 more hits than games, as he had 71 runs. He had 24 RBIs alongside 15 home runs and 50 RBIs. He would steal 29 bases, as he would get caught stealing 11 times, leading the National League. His batting average of .266 would be a few points below his career average, as he would finish with 7 more strikeouts than games this past year. He had a .351 on-base percentage, which would be a career low for him, as well as a .413 slugging percentage. So far, the only season in which it would be below 500, resulting in a career low OPS of .764. The only season his OPS is below .880. So, of course, he would finish with an OPS plus of 14 after being named an All-Star for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. Following this 2022 season, he would not really get named, he wasn't really given any accolades other than being an all-star. However, he is going to prepare for his 6th season with the Atlanta Braves, coming back completely from injury, considering what he did in his only full season in this league, where he played over 120 games. I do think that the MLB is in store for what could be a masterclass and possibly even an MVP season from Ronald Acuna Jr. I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well. If you ever get a chance to watch him, he wears number 13 for the Atlanta Braves, and he is a lot of fun to watch for someone that watches the Braves. With that said, thanks for listening. I hope all is well, and I will catch you with more tomorrow. Thanks for listening, and peace out. Happy birthday, Ronald Acuna Jr.